dear friends. My name is Emelina. Welcome to I'm Woke. In this video, I'm going to take you guys through an Akashic Records reading for the Scorpio full moon energy update on April 23rd. And this is also intended to be timeless in general, especially with Akashic Records readings. They meet you in the quantum with the information that you need at the time that you need it. So that's what I'm going to be taking you guys through today. When I went to sit down, I was going to sit down and just channel like a more active reading through myself. The Akashic Records jumped in and asked me to channel a specific message for you guys. So I'm going to tap into that channel and allow them to speak through me in whatever way they feel is necessary and appropriate. Thank you guys for being here with me. Those of you that are here with me now, those that pop in later, those that see this video later, I adore all of you. If you're new to my world, my name is Emelina Calder. I'm a high performance life coach, a personal branding coach, a shaman, an Akashic Records reader, practitioner, mentor, guide, an intuitive guide, a spiritual mentor, all the things, okay? A psychic medium. And if you're new to my world and my channel and you want to subscribe, tap that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I love to post weekly energy readings as well as personal and spiritual development videos. And if the Akashic Records is new for you and you want to learn how to tap into your soul blueprint and the data of your soul that comes through in a very energetic, healing way, you can learn how to get into your own Akashic Records. And if you go down to the description link below, I have a 6-part video training series for you guys and a free workshop and the whole bunch of stuff to help teach you how to begin entering into your Akashic Records through an easy meditation practice. So you can start with that below. Now, I'm going to center in. I am already connected into the energy is actually really I can feel it with an intensity in my heart space. I'm already tapped into the Akashic Records of the spiritually awakening light collective on the planet. So I'm just gonna like tap in and do my little communion with them, which is just like getting on board with them. Not like raising my energy fields because I'm already raised up, but it's really just me centering in the space of the Akashic Records. And I'll sit for a moment and I might piece together speaking, listening to them, and then speaking it through, or I might just stream of conscious speak the message through depending on where they're at with me. But they did flag me down before I jumped into this video and they were like, hey, we're gonna be talking through you. I was like, okay, I'm here for it, whatever you need. So that's what I've got. All right. Bear with me. I'm a little burnt out, but it's fine. Not burnt out. I'm just like, I'm in an energy where I feel like I'm going to cry. And I know that that's that energy channel opening. So this is going to feel like a really probably healing space for a lot of you. Also, the Akashic Records deliver information in transmissions. There are source codes, there are light codes, light awakening and activations that are present through the message that you receive into your energy field from source consciousness, from your own Akashic Records. Remember to drink water and just sit with the energy of the message. All right. I'm just going to tune in. This is a sweet activation that we are going to be sending through to you now as if you are covered in an orb of light that is simultaneously protective and extraordinarily increasing your own energy field. If you think of yourself as in the quantum matrix, a little cell, and there are other cells and you're each communing together, talking together and overlapping your own energy frequencies and energy waves to communicate with those around you, even those invisible to you, those you may know in the future, those you have known in the past, and everything and anything in between. You are overlapping your own energy fields with all of these other humans in the time-space dimensional reality, regardless of your current present timeline existence with who you are connecting with right now at this time. As you can imagine, that experience of awakening is like sharing energy with many different people in many different times in the now, and you might be wondering why you're feeling certain emotions activate, as if you're having a full-blown emotional experience that feels slightly more random than is your typical daily emotional experience, without any event or occurrence, shall we say, that would bring you to your knees, that would bring you to tears, that would bring you to deeply satisfying states of unending gratitude for being in your human body and human vessel in a way that would make you wonder why you would be oh so grateful without a specific experience that would be the universe bringing you to your knees. When in reality, that set of emotional amplitude, the emotional awakening that is waking up your energy fields, is being specifically brought to you because you are being given the downloads of awareness and awakening into your emotional body that is bypassing the mental fields. That emotional body is the culmination of your specific energetic and quantum-based experience of the net of reality and awakening for events that have yet to come, that are existing in parallel dimensions and timelines and different realities that are overlapping with your current reality. Some of the events may not come. For what is happening is that you are actually integrating the fullness of the emotional experience of many different aspects of timelines, merging with your own timeline that is in existence for you right now. The reason why you are having this experience, and we will dive into the more specifics of what this may look like for you, is because as you awaken and become more aware in your heart space, as you become emotionally aware to your ongoing moment-to-moment emotional experience, without dodging or containing it, without blaming it on others, without shaming yourself, but stepping into the emotional awakening, which many of you see a spiritual awakening as being a crown chakra opening and a downloading of cosmic energy into your mind space, into your energetic body. However, the awakening, the same sort of spiritual awakening, can awaken through your own heart space. And the heart is how the quantum realities are processed in real time. Many of you are running many new sequences of events for quantum data that is bypassing your mind, so it won't come across. For those of you that are readers or that have experiences with past life regressions, these are experiences that, had they been downloaded through your crown chakra, would come across very specifically as past life regressions and parallel life regressions or experiences from your many realities that you would then assimilate and understand mentally, and then digest and integrate into your physical awareness and experience. That is what you are accustomed to, dear ones, at this moment in this specific awakening that is tied to this current time period. And as you shall know, time is not linear. So whenever you watch this message or listen to it or tune into it, you are receiving this specific time, space, that is meeting you with your current specific energetic needs. You are receiving the downloads and codes of awareness and awakening into your heart space. The heart space carries a quantum field of awakening, which is not dissimilar from understanding past life and parallel life and future life regression. Although it is ironic to call a future life a regression, for you are not regressing, you are progressing. But regardless, we are making it into terms specifically that your human mind would understand. The reality is that these are all parallel realities and parallel dimensions that are overlapping with specific energy fields. As each version of yourself is living through the quantum, shifting through the quantum, all of those energy fields, all of those energetic experiences, all of those emotional experiences, as if they had already happened to you, are being layered into your current emotional body through the quantum processor within your heart space, as if you are downloading the experience instead of from your crown into your heart chakra. This is not just the human heart chakra in your body. You are actually tied into the larger galactic heart that exists in the Pleiades. The quantum processing speeds that you are accustomed to as a human race, we'd liken it to specifically how your computers process information. If you were to think about the computers in just a number of years ago, perhaps you had a core dual processor. And then there are other processors as you upgrade operating systems, as you upgrade computers, as you upgrade technology, where you can have a quad processor or an 8-core processor. The heart is absolutely no different. As you ascend in your own awareness and ability to exchange data at the spiritual energetic level, depending on the amount of information that you've been able to assimilate and grow into your heart space comfortably, for the spiritual energetic body can ascend at a different vibrational frequency, or we will call acceleration rate, than the emotional body. And the emotional body is controlled by the quantum space of the heart. So what's happening is, because so many of you in this specific light collective on Earth at this time, and we say specific because we have chosen to speak through Emelina, through the collective of light workers that have specifically chosen, actively made a choice to be in their own spiritual progression and spiritual awareness. You guys, I'm just going to tap in and tell you what I'm going through for a moment, and then I'm going to jump back in. When I edit these videos, it's easier for me to edit this out. I am, and they told me I can take a break for a second because this is a lot. I'm like, this is a lot for my body, okay? I literally just like need to cry. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy. I don't know what you guys are feeling on your end, but it's a lot of energy. I'm just going to breathe into my heart space and clear it out so that I can get the next download through. but it's very present. We're bringing your attention specifically back to the quad core in your heart space. For as you have chosen to awaken, you are saturating your specific energetic fields within your crown chakra, your own Akashic records, and the 8th star soul chakra. That ascension practice is at a different rate than the emotional body's ability to assimilate the spiritual information. Those of you who are aware of a level of mental psychosis that can happen from expanding too rapidly in the spiritual realm without specific emotional and physical integration will understand that to keep up with your ascension practice, to grow spiritually and energetically without causing danger to your mind's ability to understand and to know what is real and what is not real based on the fact that you have chosen a very physical reality. in your body means that you have to have a certain ability or level to be grounded in your physical body, in your awareness, and in your ego or your mind's ability to discern what is real and what is not in this moment, regardless of what is real, which is the expansive, massive oneness going all the way back to the void in cosmic realities. Although it is real, the level of realness that you are able to integrate into your emotional body and into your physical experience dictates how sane and how healthy you are as a spiritual awakened human, as a spiritual practitioner, and what you are able to actually share with others in your experience as an act of your living and breathing and being with the full ascension and awareness of what you have assimilated without ever speaking a word to the other human. You are all sharing your ascension, your practice. You are sharing different aspects of awakening just by living and being. And many of you, we know that some of you are aware, some are not, are radiating your energetic fields up to 100 miles each. Just the act of you breathing and being integrated in your emotional body and in your physical human experience as a spiritually awakened person, a person on the path that is choosing specifically to awaken frequently, assimilate as much information as they can into the actual embodiment, are spreading these active codes. We will call it a virus, but it is a virus in the best of ways. What you're doing is, from the quantum space of the heart, is you're spreading out the ability of a vibration that other people pick up on, that they begin to then tap into the subtle awareness and energetic processing within the emotional center, within their heart spaces, without you ever even meeting them, saying a word. These are people that you're passing on the street. These are people that are in restaurants 7 doors down for you. These are there is so much energetic awareness that you share by your act of personal integration. Now, bringing this specific channel back to the space of the heart, because we want you to understand how quantum mechanics work at the heart space. We want you to understand because it will facilitate a new level of sanity and awakening within your mental ability to understand what many of you are going through. For you are feeling an experience that is very different than your typical act of spiritual ascension and awareness experience, where it comes in a more logical, energetic manner. The heart speaks in a very different way. It is quantum computing. It is emotional processing at a quantum level. And that can feel like an overwhelming experience for the mind. The heart's ability to grow at a rapid pace, we will liken it to the movie. Emelina's bringing us a reference of the Grinch. When the Grinch's heart grows 10 times, that is what many of you are going through and experiencing at this time, and you're not understanding where the growth is coming from. But that growth is quantum growth. It is your ability to empathize with yourself and others, to understand and process parallel, future, and past life regressions instantaneously in the moment, as if your mental mind was rehearsing through past life regressions throughout your entire day, as if you were mentally aware of the regressions throughout your entire waking day. Now, if you knew the amount of quantum realities that you are decompressing and assimilating to within your heart space, again, because you have all grown so much in your spiritual capabilities that your hearts are now expanding out from a dual processor to a quad to an 8 core. Many of you are running between, you're actually jumping timelines within yourself now with your own ability to process exponentially more psychic, spiritual, intuitive information that comes across as a heart-based knowing. It comes across as emotion. You may feel a little bit more emotionally volatile at this time. This is a time where you need to take care of your emotions in whatever way feels right for you. If you feel crazy because you're processing so many different emotions and you don't know where they're coming from, don't go looking for reasons. Just acknowledge now in this transmission, in this download, that you are working through what is an exponential rate of your ability to process at a quantum level from the heart space. We're not going to beat around the bush for you guys. There is nothing comfortable about that process of exponential growth. It is like a baby, not even just a baby, like a toddler, when their bones are growing. Do you think they have and experience some physical discomfort from the fact that their bones are actually growing and that they might feel that growth and that growth is uncomfortable? It makes them jittery. It makes them want to move. It makes them want to do things. It makes them want to eat more. Well, that's where you're at. Also, for those of you that need to hear this, if your hunger has increased, that is also a normal aspect of this process, because the heart needs a certain amount of food sustained through the body in order to support this quantum up-leveling. It is going from a toddler through puberty through to a teenager. That is how we will liken this process for you. And you're going through this process over the course of 6 to 12 months. But right now, you're feeling the initial expansion. There will be another initial exponential expansion and another exponential expansion. Now we'd like to bring our attention. Thanks, you guys. Oh my gosh, you guys, they're giving me a break. They were like, Emelina, tell them what you went through. Okay, so, they just asked the human part of me to explain. So, quantum processing. I don't remember when I did this. Probably over a year ago, maybe a year ago. I don't know. Anyway, my heart core can process 64 cores at one time for quantum data. So I'm very fast and I'm very comfortable with the process. So that's what they're saying to me. So what they do is they start you out with a dual core. Most of you are on dual and quad cores, okay? But the experience though of going from a dual core in the heart, and let me think about how to explain this. They're showing it to me like a coil. If you guys have seen, oh my gosh, Iron Man, right? Like he's got that coil thing in his heart that allows him to power the whole suit. That's very similar. The heart is a quantum processor, okay? It's like a computer. Like the mind is a computer too, but the mind's much slower. The mind is a dual processor and it processes more logically. The heart processes many different simultaneously realities in real time simultaneously. The easiest way I could explain this, and then I'll go back to the processor, is like, let's say at every moment we have, I don't know, we have thousands of parallel realities that split off in every moment. Every intention we have, every choice that splits off a new reality. Like time is insane. Where is I going with that? Okay, let me just tap back in. I'm gonna be as transparent as I possibly can. They're literally coaching me through this like a child. They're like, Emelina, it's okay. You're gonna be uncomfortable. Like you're moving through a lot right now and you don't even know what it is because you're communicating it through. I feel so many things right now that I can't even explain. But they were like, take it slow. It's okay. It's okay. They're like coaching me. They're like, we've got you. It's okay. So you might be feeling like that. I didn't know I was feeling like this until I jumped on this stream, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of, I would call this psychic data, but it's heart-based quantum data. So, okay, like Iron Man. If you look up gosh, I'm terrible at saying this word. Toroidal, is that the right word? Fields? The energetic fields that go around the planet, that go around each human, you know, they go like up and around, the magnetic fields that go around your body and then come back up. Like the toroidal fields, I think they're called. That is kind of what the quantum space of the heart looks like. Now, when we think of the heart, we think of one quantum space. Many of you, because of the ascension work that you've done mentally, you and your guides personally upgraded yourselves into a dual heart processor, which are like, think about Iron Man with the two, like you have two of those things that Iron Man has in his heart, right? Most of you have already been functioning on a dual heart processor. What's happening now, oh my gosh, I can feel I can feel this in my heart switch. It's like painful. Oh my God. This is gonna be really uncomfortable for you guys. All right, I can feel it. Okay, so you're moving from a dual to a quad. Most of you are moving into quad and 6 core processors. Think about it like a computer. Each core can handle a certain amount of tasks, a certain amount of psychic data, a certain amount of intuition, a certain amount of parallel and past and future realities emotionally, processing them. Now, you can think about the heart like things that require emotional space from you. So because I know that I have so many cores and I've really worked on my ability to quantum process, which is why I can process spiritual data so quickly, is because it's actually running through my heart, not my mind anymore. It runs a little bit through my mind, but it's mostly, everything's really running through my heart. Is that when you have something that's like difficult or like not on your mind, it's on your heart, it's something that feels emotional, you can just work with your own guidance system, with source, whatever works for you, your angels, your guides. And I just speak to my heart and I say, take this core issue, and I give it to one of my processors and I say, process this, as if it's a computer running functions of a program in the background while I'm living my life. I do this kind of on autopilot now, but I used to do it very consciously, where I'd be like, hey, there's a problem, set two core processors aside for this specific spiritual awakening that I'm looking to have, and open this change, this timeline jump that I'm looking to experience, me activating my highest states of awareness and allowing myself to come into my highest awakened power in a way that's very sovereign. Like, this is all heart space awakening. Most of you are moving from dual processors to quad and 6 core. There are a few of you that are moving to 8. I don't know why they're telling this. I'll ask them and then try to relay why that's important to know that data. They're showing me the difference of moving from computer disks. Do you remember when disks used to spin in order to communicate the data? And then it became like solid state hard drives, where it's like instantaneous. The better you get at expanding exponentially in your heart awakening, the faster you get, the easier it becomes, and then you can go from 8 to 16 more easily than going from 2 to 4, if that makes sense. Again, I don't know why they're saying this. I think they're just giving the background mental data to facilitate the light codes that you're being given. And I'm doing that as if it's coming in through your crown, but it's not. It's actually being communicated through your heart. All right, let me, oh my gosh. It's a lot for my body to process, you guys. It's like, that's why I don't channel like this all the time. I really like it, but man, it's like physically exhausting. I don't know who, for those of you that work in the Akashic Records, right now they're being so cute with me. It's like, they're like, great job. We'd like to give you a hug now. I'm like, oh, really? Like, thanks. Like, I really use one. They're very loving guides. All guides are loving guides, but it's like, it's just really nice. I'm gonna see if they want to send anything else through. Oh my gosh. All right. I don't know where they're taking me. They said, they're taking me through a sequence though. They said to say that hold on, say it again. I've done nothing wrong, but I'm gonna try something new. That sequence is a sequence. They're showing me a code of awareness. It's like popping into a keyboard. I've done nothing wrong, but I'm gonna try something new. That is I don't know how else to describe it. It's a specific code. It's a light code. It's a set of awareness that you can also occupy yourself. I've done nothing wrong, but I'm gonna try something new, okay? Dear God, I don't know. All right. I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's uncomfortable for me because they're not communicating to me in the way that I usually like, which is why they prefaced by saying that. So I'm going to try something new. I don't know what I'm going to do right now or how I'm going to explain this, but here's what's going on. They're showing me, this is uncomfortable because I don't know what's going on. Okay, they're showing me reaching out into my energy field and grabbing blocks like a child with the blocks with the letters on them. And they're showing me reaching for blocks outside of the energy field and pulling them in and arranging them in front of you. And then, I don't know what the F is going on right now. I've been saying, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You guys watch my training in real time. They're training me right now. It's one thing to do it without a camera. Oh, to be a beginner. All right. I'm listening. Okay. You're wondering, is this energy work? All right. I'm tuning up. Oh gosh. Hold on, I'm just gonna keep doing this and then I'll tune you guys into what's going on, all right? And let me know if you can feel it in the comments too. Right there. I'm tuning up your quantum fields. It's like a kickstart, like a, keep showing me this, you know, like those dolls, the singing dolls, right? Where they like sing a song, but you twist the back. They're showing me, it's like a catalyst starter. That's what this whole energy download is. the work that I'm doing through source consciousness. You'll receive it through source, not through me. They keep saying catalytic converter. I don't know exactly what that does, but for whoever needs to hear that, it's a kickstart, and I have the ability to awaken people. They're showing me at the quantum. I have the ability to awaken a heart processor. It's a rare skill, is what I'm being told. In a safe way, because I do it in a safe way. So this is energetically, emotionally safe. It's something I've cultivated in my intuitive spiritual experiences, my ability to be safe in myself, to hold safety for others, and to awaken safely. Nobody wants an unsafe awakening. Safe. You're being given the ability to explore new lands, new potential realities, new possibilities, things emotionally that you've never experienced before. You're going to be opening up your heart to a land that is completely new. It will feel as if you're moving into a completely new version of yourself, a new personality, a new persona, as if you had died and been rebirthed and were completely brought into someone entirely and completely new. This is the epitome of an instantaneous spiritual awakening. It is instantaneous. Your ability to move through your heart-centered awareness and communicate with the divine, with source, from your ability to center within your heart, not just from the knowledge of a practice of meditation and being heart-centered, but from living heart-centered, from breathing heart-centered, from being in such a vessel of trust that you are no longer looking for safety in the mind to show you your next steps, to show you who you are. The mind, of course, supports the heart. The mind is the servant of the heart. But the heart's ability to process information is thousands of times faster than the mind. If you trust your heart and you move in congruence with your heart and allow the mind to support as you're moving forward through your heart space, this is about you're going to be able to awaken faster, assimilate information spiritually faster, which this isn't just about being spiritual, all right, you guys? It's avoiding danger. I'm going to give you the very human terms now. They're like setting up there. It's avoiding danger. It's skipping out on very, very difficult realities where you are just filled with obstacles and things just aren't working, or like you can't make money, or like money's hard, or you're losing money. These are very material things. Spiritual awakening can facilitate the lifting up of the physical experience to be a more joyful experience overall, where things can work out more harmoniously without you having to mentally exercise your typical law of attraction stuff, which is like visualizing and chanting and I don't know, a million things. Like I've been so over it for a while. I just live out of my heart and things manifest, like, because that's how this works. It's going to allow your spiritual experience to be easier as long as you can move through the crunchy discomfort of growing a heart, which they're showing me is not unlike growing a child. And for those of you that are men, well, you're going to get the experience. It's growing a heart. It is cradling the heart. The heart is the inner child, and there is obviously an adult, the mature, the emotionally mature adult lives in the heart, and thanks guys. Okay. Your higher self communicates through your heart. So all of you, all the parts of you simultaneously live in your heart space. So the more you can live through your heart, which is, it's the easier experience you're going to have, the more aligned your experience you're going to have, manifesting the reality you want. I don't even want to say manifesting, because it's really living the reality that you want. It's now. It's now. Your focus is always on the now because the future never comes. Like, it's always now. Of course, you can plan for a future, but you got to live in the now. You got to live in the present. When you live in the present, you have access to quantum amounts of data from your heart space that will tell you how to move, how to act, what to do to open up entire new timelines for you that will come across as miracles. Now, there's a vast array of how those miracles appear. A miracle could be, you guys give this to me in a very human way, human. Because when we think miracles, we think like big things, like falling out of midair. But truly, when you're living from the heart space in the moment, in the present moment, I'm going to say this, but then I got to try to unpack it. Everything is a miracle, but I'm not saying that to like guru it. Like, like I just made guru a word. I'm saying that because when you're moving from the heart space, when you're processing from the heart space and you're present and aligned to your ability to communicate and commune with the divine through your heart in every now moment without worrying about what's going on in your mind. And this, again, is your attention to your emotional awareness. If you're always attentive to your emotional awareness, you are tapped into the quantum realities and you can shift your reality very quickly. If you feel good, trust it. If you don't feel good, trust that you either need to sit in that to dissolve that feeling, to allow acceptance into that feeling, or maybe you just need to change your fucking channel. Like, y'all have televisions. If you don't like the channel, change it. Like, you don't have to force it, but change it. This is what I mean. Like sometimes you need to sit in the emotions to really dissolve them. But sometimes you just need to have all of this emotional awareness is something that's also a very deep dive practice, but I'm giving you like the quick codes on it. Is that a lot of times, like if you're not feeling good, just change the fucking channel. Like change the channel. Just decide like, oh, that's not working for me. That's not where I want my focus. Is there anything that I could focus on right now that would be a little bit better than where that weird focus is that's not making me feel good? And that little shift, that is like, they're showing me it's like moving mountains in your reality. So I'm not saying not to visualize for those of you that work well with this, but it's like, instead of visualizing and chanting like mantras all day and having to do it all day. I remember because I used to have to do all of this. It's literally like, if you're attentive into your heart space, it requires far less mental work and it requires your emotional presence to understand what you're going through, to hold space for yourself, what you're going through, and to have the emotional maturity and discernment to know, which you only develop through practice. You have to actually try it and try it over and over again and be willing to fail at it and be bad at it for a while in order to get good at it. So that's a thing. To understand through discernment, which emotions need to be felt longer? What needs to be, what do you need to like soften into and feel like negative emotions of those? What needs to be skipped over? Because some of those negative emotions need to actually be not bypassed, but kind of bypassed, like, because they're actually not of service. It's like the ego's way of trying to trap you almost. And then there's like, which emotions do you need to expand more into? Like, I'll say it like this, like in manifestation, everything, like what people normally talk about online and stuff, it's really tapping into your joy, right? There are different levels of joy. I used to be more like, I don't know how to describe it, like expansively joyful, where I would almost force the joy because the more you practice the emotion, it becomes an automatic emotion. And joy is very magnetizing for the universe. It's a very potent frequency. However, where I've been sourcing my joy recently is in safety. And most people probably wouldn't think safety and joy are the same. They're just different levels of the intensity and sustained, like they're showing me, I don't know how to describe this. They're showing me a quantum field coming out of the heart in like a flat way. I don't know how to describe this. Sorry, you guys. And safety oh, one of my friends used to call it, it's frequency and amplitude, but I forget which one is horizontal. So on the horizontal axis, safety is about spreading out your foundation emotionally, so that when the joy spikes come, you can reach real high and channel a lot of electricity through your body, because you have the ability to support it energetically in your body and in your emotional awareness field, so that you don't feel like you're fried out by the joy, because it's such a high frequency. But what they're showing me, like, my focus has been on just the feeling of safety. And the feeling of safety is, I would liken it to another feeling of joy. So all this to say, when I say pick the most joyful option, or like what's going to give you the most joy, that can be an intense joyful experience, like joyriding with the top down in a car. Or that can be like a softer, slower emotional experience that is also joyful, that is like, I feel safe. And I feel a freaking 24/7 safe. And like, as long as I, like, when I say the word safe, and you guys might want to practice this too, but like, I'm just sharing my experience, to give some awareness to it. It's like, when I say I feel safe, I'm just like, like, it just feels so good. Like, and I literally practice this all the time. I'm just like, I feel safe. Like, I feel safe. What would make me feel more safe? I'm never, not at this point anyway, creating safety from trying to run from something, from trying to avoid danger. That's not where the word safety and the frequency of safety comes from me. For me, the frequency of safety that I'm practicing, I'm going to try to find words for it. It's like relief. It's like a release of tension. It's a level of relaxation. It's a level of trust. Not trust from being like, I have to trust because I have this obstacle. It's none of that. It's literally like, how else would I describe it? It's like the presence of non-resistance. That's how I would describe safety. The feeling of safety for me is the being, it is the presence of goodness. I don't know what other people would call it. For me, that word is safety. The presence of, maybe some people would think it's angelic. I like literally, I just feel safe. Like, I'm safe. The body, or sorry, the cells in my body are vibrating like, 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 I don't know. That's a level of joy for me. I'm explaining this through because, you know, we can kind of shortcut emotionally and be like, you have to feel joy in order to magnetize things to you. And the heart is so much more powerful than the mind for manifesting, which it is. But I like to break these things down, and they are guiding me to break it down for you, because I wouldn't have thought to do it without the Akashic Records sharing this with me to do it. But this is how I live and how I practice my spiritual awareness. Primarily is through my heart space and my willingness to slow down my emotions and to understand the subtle emotions. So again, within the feeling of joy, within the emotional experience of joy, how many different joyful experiences are there? We can call the joy yellow, okay? But like, how many shades of yellow are you aware of? How many different versions of yellow are there? Depending on what shade you're adding, depending on what tint you're adding, like, how does that yellow change? It's your ability, this is like your emotional awareness, your emotional frequency. It's your ability to discern between like a bright sunny yellow and an ochre, or a golden yellow, or a more pale yellow. Like, for those of you that have any level of artistic knowledge or design knowledge, there are so many different colors within each color. So for emotions, there are so many different subtleties behind every emotion that we label as like joy, or as anger, or as grief, or as happiness, or as contentment. But like, We're trying to add a label onto something that is borderline indescribable. We're trying to use the human language, which is severely the English language, and I guess in this case, which is like severely limited to explaining your ability to feel at the quantum level and what you experience emotionally. So as your heart is expanding into this awareness, slow down your ability to process emotionally. I'm gonna try to find a way to mentally explain this. So it's like when you're uncomfortable, sit in it. And don't just be like, I'm uncomfortable, I'm hungry, like what I'm hungry or whatever. Like sit in it and just feel. This is really just a meditation of you feeling, and you're gonna be doing this a lot. I've been feeling a lot with all my quantum shifting. It's like, feel that they come across as textures. The heart speaks to me in texture a lot. So like I'll see and I'll feel texture, because it's hard to describe without a texture is like an energetic signature, like a fingerprint, like a signature. That comes with many different components. So like in a texture, you could have valleys, right? In a texture, you could have peaks. How soft are those peaks? How sharp are those peaks? What do they feel like? Do you like the sensation? Like, does it feel good to you? Like, is there something that would feel better to you? Do you want to change the texture? This is how emotion works. Emotion is sensual. Senses, your ability to sense different vibrational frequencies that show themselves and express themselves as emotional textures. And that texture, like I just described again, show me that one again, you guys. Is that joy? It is joy. So they're painting joy. They're painting like a version of joy for me. And they're showing me, they're expanding out the emotional frequency of joy and showing it to me as a not clairsentient, what's the visual one, in a psychic way. They're showing me a vision of it, okay? And they're showing it to me like a topographic map. If you were to look at that topographic map on a computer and expand it into a 3D way, where you were looking at it as a simulation on a computer, that's what they're showing me as the emotional frequency of joy. And what they're showing me is a range of many different ranges of this golden yellow. But it's not bright, it's golden. It's like warm, but not too bright. I don't know how to describe it. And then within that texture of this like topographic map, this like 3D map that they're kind of showing me, they're showing me peaks, like mountain ranges and valleys and dips. So while you're experiencing, this is what this is telling me, so I'm just gonna break it down for you guys. It's like, so while you're experiencing joy, or this specific frequency of joy, you can expect highs from the tops of the peaks that'll feel like total freaking ecstasy. You can expect the joy or the fall of slipping down from a high, down into a trough, which depending on your perspective, that might be fun or it might not be as fun. These are the subtleties of joy. Like, you know, if you enjoy going sledding, that could be a fun wave to ride, right? Coming from a higher state of emotional awareness to a lower state, not meaning any less vibrant. It's just like a higher oscillating frequency to a lower oscillating frequency, still within the range of joy. That dip to an emotionally unaware person might feel like terror. It depends on how your emotional body understands the subtle awareness of your emotional experience, to understand like how to translate it, which then once you start translating it and the mind attaches stories to it, then that tells you what your experience is going to be around that emotional awareness or that emotional frequency. Then when you're in the trough part of the joy, because they're showing me there are these like and there's like this terrain around the mountainsides and all of this texture. This is texture. Like if you were to take paint and literally like with a palette, like texture it onto a canvas or onto a piece of wood, like there's a texture, there's a visceral sensation about it. It is an emotion, but it's not like we could say the same thing for love. Like how many people are like, oh, love. It's like, well, do you have any idea? Like the subtleties of the experience of love and all of the different subtle vibrational awareness and experiences of love or of joy or of ecstasy. They're showing me that one for whoever needs to hear this. There's the ecstasy of an orgasm. There's an ecstasy of inducing the ecstasy via any level of drugs. There's the ecstasy of an emotional high. There's an ecstasy of relief. Like I'm so relieved that it then shoots you up into an ecstasy state. They're showing specifically and asking me to explain the different textures within a single word that we label as an emotion, to show you a couple of things. One, that word, that we are not so evolved as humans that we have come up with the ability to actually be able to communicate and describe an emotional experience. We can only describe it with very limited terms. It's like looking at a beach, an ocean, a beautiful sunset with millions of fucking colors. And the language that we have at the human experience with where humanity is right now to explain that actual real visceral experience that is being experienced at the physical level. They're showing it to me like you calling a friend and being like, I'm outside in nature. I can see, and you're like looking at the sunset and you don't even know how to describe it because you don't even have the word for sunset or whatever. Like it's like I'm looking at a sunset, but there's no way to explain what you are actually experiencing. They're showing me that at the human collective level is that there's a huge wave of people that have done so much spiritual development work that they are now moving into the quantum processors of the heart space, which is exponentially awakening you as if you are having a brand new spiritual experience. And many of you have had spiritual experiences. Like you have been in this awakening process for a long time. So you might feel a little nuts about this. It's like you will feel like a total fucking newbie, as if you had never touched anything spiritual in your life. That is what the heart is doing to all of us. It's like there are different spiritual experiences. I don't even want to call them levels because they're not necessarily levels. It's just that we have a culture that when we awaken spiritually, it's easier for us to awaken through the crown than it is through the heart, because it's actually harder to develop language for the heart because I can only speak to like a really American culture. Like I don't know about the rest of the world, but like really the far majority of this world that we currently live in is incapable of, they're giving it to me in very black and white terms, is like incapable of supporting a heart awakening for most people. Now, that is changing because this wave, there's a significant level of leadership where as you guys go through it, you're going to be able to start, you're going to start talking to each other to some level, whether it's online, whether it's in print. Like, actually, we're all talking in the quantum anyway. And the 5D, exchanging the experiences, exchanging the understanding, starting to develop a new language, even if it's silent for a while or telepathic, and empathic from the heart. Like even I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and I looked at them, I was like, you know, I'm gonna trust that you can feel the experience that I'm trying to describe to you, because I don't know that my mind can really express to you everything that's going on. And she's so emotionally aware that she felt it. She was like, yeah, I get it. I don't think we need to describe it. And I was like, thank God. Like, it's like, but that empathy, that telepathy, that shared like experience with people you love and trust begins to develop a new language of communication that might come across like it's silent, like it just kind of just happens. But then as that happens, as more of us awaken and more of us awaken and more of us awaken and more of us start describing it, more of us get on little YouTube videos and describe it more and more and more and more and more. Like the language that we're able to describe and use to communicate what's going on for us to other humans mentally, right, logically, will develop. That development doesn't happen without this process and a certain amount of us that are able, available, and aware to go through the experience of feeling like spiritual children, playing in a Garden of Eden, messing around with some blocks, putting our hands in the sand and going, what does that feel like? And then like running over to the mud and going, what's that feel like? And then like seeing an oasis in a little pool and then going, what's that? Because we don't even know. It's water, okay, in this scenario, but it's an emotional experience and we don't know what that is yet. So then you jump in the water and you're like, oh my gosh, I can drink it. I can smack it on my face. I can throw water at a friend. I can skip. I can swim. I can take too much in my mouth and cough it all up. Like there are so many different experiences. So this is what it is emotionally. There's like a level of emotional exploration of being willing to be a child in your awareness, because the likelihood of you being able to describe what is going on for you is very low. That is no discredit to any of your intelligence. It is literally like when you step out of the mind and you step into the emotional space of awakening, the emotional heart ascension process, it is like borderline indescribable. It is challenging to describe. I'm literally struggling to describe it right now. Like that's like the level we're at here. So in that way, you'll feel like a beginner. In that way, you will feel like a toddler. In that way, your relationships will feel brand new. Because it's like a bunch of toddler. Now I'm understanding what's been going on with me and all my friends. It's like, because we're all in this sort of work. We're all doing this work. So it's like coming together with some other toddlers and being like, what's this? Oh, it was sand. Oh, what did that do to you? Did you like that? No. Oh, is that weird? Oh, like you're like playing. Like I don't know how else to describe it. But it's like emotional play. It is, they're taking me here again. It is sensation based. So it is like the spiritual experience of awakening in the heart is like taking your hands, sticking them in the mud and going, what does that feel like? What does it feel like between my fingers? It's a little wet. Like, okay. Sticking your hands into sand and going, oh, that's like dry. And it like moves around my hand in a different way. Sticking your hands into water and being like, that feels totally different. You're feeling your way through your life, but it's not feeling as in like, you know, when people are like, feeling is healing, just feel your emotions. It's not that, like, yes, that's a layer of it, but it's really like, we could call, I don't have the words. We could call it a meditation practice. I won't. I will, but I won't. It is, and let's break down meditation. Meditation is anything you do with single-minded focus. So we could call this an emotional single-minded experience. That is what I would call this meditation. And it is an active, living, waking meditation that you're doing throughout the entire day, being willing to feel the sensations that come up for you, these textures of reality that we could gently call intuitive data, through your day, and navigating from the place of what do things feel like at the textural, visceral, energetic level, from your heart, and then navigating based on what feels good. Like, what feels like a little bit better. So I'm going to give you guys a concrete example because this happens when I'm channeling, and with actually people in person as well. When I'm channeling, I was channeling an ancestor last night, regardless. Anyway, the way that I know how to back out of conversations when I'm doing my psychic work is my shadow communicates to me in texture. And when my shadow pipes up with a texture, which is an emotional frequency for me, I know that it's time to exit because I have a very good relationship with my shadow, and my shadow doesn't pipe up unless there's a problem. This is my awareness for me knowing that this is my shadow. I don't know how else to describe it to you guys. I'm just going to share my experience because I think that's the best way I can handle this right now, as opposed to pretending that I might think I'm going to know what you go through, because I think it's going to be different for everyone. My shadow, like the shadow is your powerhouse. My shadow specifically tells me when things upset me, when they are dangerous, when I need to set a boundary. My shadow is in charge of boundaries. So whether I'm in conversation with a human or an entity, and I will say that the boundaries are almost harder to see with entity types when you're psychic channeling, because they're not in front of you doing shit. They're doing things, and they might not even mean bad. Like this ancestor I was talking to didn't mean anything negative. But there was a lack of a boundary, and I wouldn't have known if I wasn't as attuned to my emotional awareness, which it's not like all of a sudden I got angry. Like that's easy. Like the more volatile emotions are easy. The more intense emotions are easy. But what about those subtle emotions that are running in your subconscious that come across as a subtle texture underneath the original bigger emotions? And how good are you at deciphering and understanding those textures? So my shadow literally shows me, it pulls a texture up into my energetic field to the point where at the psychic visual level, all I can see is a shadowed texture, like gross texture. My shadow just gives me gross textures, and that's how it gets my attention. And then once I see or acknowledge or feel that texture, then I'm able to know that I need to set a fast boundary or exit conversation, whether it is psychically and intuitively or whether it is physically. When that texture comes up, I know that it's time to regroup, sit with it and go, something subtle is happening in my emotional awareness. There's a texture here of emotional sensation that I don't understand, that doesn't feel good. So I need to set a boundary or take some space to then process. And that's probably what you guys will go through as well, is like, as you're learning these different emotional awareness and textures and this awakening of the heart space, when something feels uncomfortable and you can't label it, can't understand it, you're not sure what's going on, but you know that you don't like it, give yourself space, allow yourself to walk away from something, and you can come back to it later after you've like digested the experience, after you've sat with it, after you've embodied it for a minute, so that you can kind of like catch up to whatever it is without sprinting past it, without ignoring it, which are the tools that we're given as humans, right? Like ignore the emotions, like whatever it is. And allowing it to be a part of your experience, which in that experience, there's a process of slowing down to meet yourself as a child, because you're learning a whole fucking brand new language, and it's the language of subtle emotion. It's the language of emotional, I don't want to say maturity because it's not even mature. It's like emotional understanding. It is a specific language. You know how like we have letters in the alphabet? Well, the heart has a specific array of original like colors, we'll call them, an original palette, an original energetic emotional vocabulary. And then there's like what else can we call it? Like letters, an alphabet, an emotional alphabet. And then, okay, an alphabet, like A, like we'll say is anger, and B is, I don't know, fucking joy. And then you keep going through the emotions, like these are the basic emotions. But then how many words, how many sentences, how much poetry, how many books, how many emails can you write with a language? Well, that's what you're doing at the emotional level. When you awaken your heart, which is what's happening for you guys, when you have the spiritual awareness, the spiritual awakening, it's an entirely new awakening experience in the heart. Just like how when you woke up spiritually with your consciousness at the spiritual like crown level, mental level, this is a whole nother spiritual awakening It's giving you the ability to navigate your experience, to speak, and to like express yourself like you would in any level of language in an entirely new way with infinite possibilities and combinations. All based on your personal preference of what you want to experience, but you're not going to know what you want to experience until you go dabbling into it and figure out like how to use words, how to use emotions, how to put them together, how to feel what's what. That's the download. I'm going to check in with them again briefly and see if there's anything else, but I feel like that's a good point to wrap. All right, Akashic Records. Let me dip my toe back in with you. I love how they talk to me so much. They talk to everyone a little bit differently. They just said, go have fun, Emelina. They said, you're done, go have fun. So if you enjoyed this, please like the video below. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below on what you thought, what resonated, any questions you might have. I am happy to answer anything from my experience in my channel in the comments. If you guys love how I describe spiritual awakening, how I speak, how I act, how I channel, I'd love to invite you to work with me. I've got a number of ways you could do that. I've got some meditation albums that I will link below. I've got some free meditations I will link below that you can get a hold of. I've got a couple of online programs, and I do some very, very deep dive one-on-one work, transformational coaching in 6 to 12 month coaching programs. Thank you for joining me here for this channel. This was quite an experience for me, and I'm just going to glance through your comments as well. Oh my gosh, you guys loaded me up with comments. I have so much love for all of you. Well, let me call you guys out. The passion frequency. Thank you for being here. Lizzie, good to see you. Custom molding, I'm happy you're in here as well. Christine, hello. Callie, nice to meet you. Guanaquito, hello, welcome. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, you guys. How beautiful. Oh, Lizzie. Emelina, you're always able to explain the processes spiritually the best of all the spiritual guidance teachers I've experienced so far. You're gonna make me cry. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. I've worked at it a very long time to be able to explain the process. It's just like, it's a language. It's language. Thank you. I'm happy that this is helpful. As always, because I feel like I'm always like, I don't know what's going on. Like, what are you going to send through me? Like, you know, it's like very in the moment. Oh, passion frequency. I love that you wrote that down for me too. I've done nothing wrong, but I'm going to go try something new. I love that they said it in that way too. I think they communicated it that way because when we're trying something new, it's like, well, you wouldn't do something new unless there was something wrong, like to do it. It's like, if something's already working, you're just going to keep doing the thing that's working. So it's like the reminder that nothing's wrong. I can just do new things because that just feels right, because I want to learn about myself and my experience. Lizzie, you said your jaw was vibrating. Yeah, when you sit in these frequencies, for me, it's a lot. I would assume a certain amount of you will get those downloads in a more sensitive way. Depending on your level of sensitivity, you could feel it to that level. Like when I watch other channels and I'm in their energy fields, like I feel everything. And when the Akashic Records channel through me, or like if you guys have seen the Law of One, I have a video on that, or Divine Mother, or the Dragon Families, those frequencies are very high frequencies. And when they're channeling through me, I'm holding it like in my body for them to communicate, while I'm also holding my own consciousness as well. And it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy. Like literally probably 4 or 5 times during that channel earlier, I just wanted to burst out into tears. Like just, and then I won't say I'm fighting with myself, but I'm like, okay, like you can feel this, but you also have to stay in state so that you can communicate what needs to be communicated. So it's like a funky internal experience I have around it. Thank you so much for the guides. Yeah, they really, You guys, I thought I have my tarot cards out and stuff. I was just going to do like a normal read. And they grabbed me and they were like, you're going to do a channel. And I felt it. Moving through the crunchy discomfort of a growing heart. Yes. Oh, gosh. I'm skimming through. I might read all these after too, just so I can keep the wonderful people that would like to exit the stream can exit when they'd like. But oh, how beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm just glancing through these. I love all these comments so much. Oh, Callie, you've been a subscriber for a while. You don't get to catch the lives much. Oh, cool. I love meeting all of you guys. I'm happy you're here. This has been a powerfully deep experience. Wonderful. It has been for me too. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for the co-collaboration. For those of you that don't know, that like when there are at the quantum level, when there are so many of us communicating, when there's a need like from the certain collective, and then there's like a collective of subscribers that I have that have they're all in some level of alignment with me because you've decided to subscribe. And then when you like the videos, when you comment, like you bring more of your energy into the guides, the Akashic records, whoever wants to channel through, and how to meet you guys intuitively where you are with what you need to hear at the right times. It's very co-collaborative and it's really just magical, and I appreciate the whole experience. So thank y'all for being you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your attention. And thank you for going through the experience on behalf of humans, of being willing to step into an emotional awakening, a spiritual emotional awakening. I want to say it's not easy, but it's not true. It kind of is easy. I really love it. I hadn't even thought to like really dive into it and explain it, but I really love it. It's like human spirituality, like evolution freaking 5.0. Like it's really cool. It's like when people describe 5D Earth, like how we're shifting into 5D, the 5D version of Earth is this like vastly emotional experience. It's telepathic. It's like all of the future of like wherever humanity is going as we shift and ascend into higher densities and higher states of awareness. As Gaia is shifting and growing too, it's like it becomes very emotional, but not like rah, like emotional, but it's just the language is sensuality. It's the ability to sense and feel and know and understand and interpret and navigate from the position of being in the present moment, from the position of safety. So that's the scoop. Thank you for joining me for this Akashic Records reading. I'm sending you guys so much love. And again, if you want to learn how to read your Akashic Records, I've got an entire 6-part video training for free in my description, link below, and a workshop and the whole thing. You can see me very excitedly talk about the Akashic Records. I think you guys will love it. That's all I got for you tonight. That's where we're going to end the stream. I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful ascension experience. Hit me up in the comments. Again, if you've got questions, you got things that were cool that happened, I don't know. I'm here for all of it. Alrighty, I'll see you guys in the next video. Talk to you soon. Bye.